Welcome to Look Around the Confederation. I'm your host for the evening, Most, and before we get started, please remember, the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor divisions, brigade, camps, or any of the subsidiaries. How is everybody doing in Dixieland tonight? We have a great show for you guys planned. Of course, we have past Division Commander of the Mississippi Division, Conor Bond, on to talk about his platform for Army of Tennessee Councilman. Now, old Conroe should be known for everybody, but we're going to keep the format we've been doing with everybody else, of course. I'm going to go into a couple of quick events, and then we're going to take a quick Pop-Tart break. And when we come back, we will have on Conor Bond. It's good to see everybody in the chat. Victor Smith, good to see you. Robert, good to see you. Ryan, good to see you. Mr. Frank, good to see you. The most sharp-dressed man in the SCV, past Commander-in-Chief, Paul Gramlin Jr. in the chat, good to see you. Good to see you, Jason. Make sure to be sharing all this out, especially if you're in the Army of Tennessee, and make sure you have some of your questions ready. Of course, we will ask some of our questions first, and then if we have any time, it depends on how long old Conor's answers are. We will ask the chat for some. Hello, Dave. We have Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy, in the chat. Good to see you, sir. First bit of news is coming out of, well, my camp. Let me see here. GCB has rearranged all my stuff here as normal. Let's see here. If I can find it. Here it is. That's not it. The Samuel H. Poe Camp number 255 out of Wayne County, Mississippi, made these 30th anniversary challenge coins to celebrate our 30th anniversary of rechartering. You can get these for $10 each by contacting the camp adjutant, me, or the camp commander, my father. For me, you can type Harrison SCV on Facebook, and for my father, you can type in just Forrest SCV on Facebook, and you'll find our SCV pages, and you can message us there. We have sold a couple online now. I cannot thank you guys enough for that support for the people who has, and thank you guys for supporting my camp. All right, let's check out the rest of it. The Army of Tennessee Workshop will be May 4th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the conference room at Elm Springs, Columbia, Tennessee. There's only 65 spots available for this workshop due to room size, so register early to guarantee your spot today. Now, registration deadline for lunch has passed. The registration fee is $20 now with no lunch guaranteed. The speakers for this event will be Membership Coordinator Eric Pavetti on Commander and Adjutant Training, Army of Tennessee Councilman Carl Jones on Building a Better Camp, and Army of Tennessee Commander Jimmy Hill on Community Involvement, and others subject to change. Now, of course, this event is also happening as our 2024 Pilgrimage and Homecoming Confederate Memorial Day service at the Southern Heritage Center, Historic Elm Springs, and of course our beautiful National Confederate Museum at SCVHQ. This event will start at 11 a.m. at the Nathan Bedford Forrest Equestrian Statue, and the keynote speaker will be Miss Jenny, the President General of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. Music will be by Strings of Secession. Individuals, camps, brigades, divisions, and other organizations are encouraged to bring a floral tribute to be announced as they lay their floral arrangements. If the weather's bad, we'll move inside the museum, but I think it's looking pretty clear. Make sure you bring a lawn chair, sunblock, and a cooler. And remember, everybody, no alcohol allowed. Dave, good to see you. Ray, good to see you. CW, good to see you. That's a first. We have a guest on our Facebook page. Old Conor saying I should know that his answers are going to be long. That's fair. That is fair. Donald, good to see you. Mr. Ron Kennedy says him and Donnie will be driving up to Virginia tomorrow to attend their division meeting. Well, I hope you guys have a great time and be safe. I cannot wait to hear what our brethren in the Virginia division is up to. Remember that the Louisiana division will have their reunion in Shreveport, Louisiana, May 17th through the 18th. Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp 1308 of Shreveport, Louisiana is honored to host the 125th anniversary reunion of the Louisiana Division, Sons of Confederate Veterans. The reunion will be held in Shreveport, Louisiana, the last Confederate capital of Louisiana, also the headquarters of the Army of Trans-Mississippi. The hotel is adjacent to the site of the residence of General Kirby Smith. The camp is working hard on planning this event, and we hope you make plans to attend. Of course, you can get more information at www.scvtaylorcamp.com. And real quick, let's see here. What is next? Oh, nothing more than the Florida Division reunion, which will be held June 1st in Trenton, Florida. This is the 54th annual reunion for our brothers in Florida, and we again hope you make plans to attend. All right. We're about to be calming down for the night, so to speak. But the last bit of news will be, let's see here. Where is it? So this project is going on right now. Make sure you tune in to our Hearth and Home episode. I'm sure our executive director, Adam Southern, will be happy to give an update on the entry hall project. Of course, they're working hard to make sure Elm Springs is back to its historical presence it had during the war. And they're doing a great job up there. Adam Southern, our executive director, is doing phenomenal work down there. And I can't thank him enough. Real quick, there is an event that I have not talked about yet, and I'll pull that up on my phone. Yeah, I am. Yeah, y'all are jumping on me. In my defense, I mean, I just got off of work and I haven't had time to really do the show like I normally do. And all of a sudden I'm getting like pressure from the guy we have as the guest. He's just hard to work with. So let me pull that up real quick. I'm glad y'all brought that to my attention, though. If I can just get my phone to work. All right. So on April 27th at, let's see here, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Beauvoir, the last home of President Jefferson Davis and many soldiers, is celebrating Confederate Memorial Day. It is one of the best places, in my personal opinion, you can celebrate. If you're around this neck of the woods, I highly encourage that you do it. We have a lot of people coming on. We have at 11 a.m. Miss Oliver presenting Ghost of the Hunley.
Look at your screen.
See, this is what happens when you just let a guest, just like their ego gets a bit too built up. So this is what happens. I'm going to go ahead and mute his mic. You threw me off. She will be presenting, of course, the Ghosts of the Hunley. I got to hear her speak this past Tuesday when I went to the Hattiesburg camp. Miss Oliver does a fantastic job. So make sure you check that out. And at 12 p.m., there will be lunch on the grounds. At 2 p.m., it will be our Confederate Memorial Day program with our main speaker, past Commander-in-Chief Paul Gramlin Jr., a.k.a. the most sharp-dressed man in the SCV. And that's going to be the big one. I'm looking forward to that. That is going to be a great event. If you do miss the 11 a.m. presentation from Miss Oliver, she will be giving, I think, a different one at 3 p.m., but it's all going to be good. And then at 4 p.m., we will end, and we hope that everybody goes to the gift shop. All SCV camps, OCR chapters, and other heritage organizations are invited to place a wreath at the tomb of the unknown Confederate soldier. You will need to email your name, title, organization, camp, or chapter number to me, Harrison Dawes, at harrisondawesscv@gmail.com. It is going to be a phenomenal event as always, and I hope you all make plans to attend. Adam, I did not know your camp had an event. So is that the one where Commander Boshears is speaking, Adam? Because I have that. Yes, it is going to be a phenomenal day at Beauvoir, and we hope you all make plans to attend to see me running around like a chicken with its head cut off. It is a very great sight if you haven't seen it. And of course, you get two great speakers. Of course, Miss Oliver and our past Commander-in-Chief, Paul Gramlin Jr. It is going to be a great day in Mississippi. So I believe, yes. Okay, so the memorial service for Adams Camp will be this Saturday, April 20th, at 10 a.m. The speaker will be Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshears, and it is at Rose Hill Cemetery. Of course, I don't think I have to say anything about Commander Boshears' speaking prowess and how he can really make you feel connected to our veterans. Just the speeches he gives are phenomenal. If you haven't heard him speak about Sam Davis, trust me, you want that in your life. It hits close to home every time I hear it. I do not know what he's speaking on that day, but it'll be great no matter what. So, yes, this Saturday, April 20th at Rose Hill Cemetery, you can hear Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshears speak. Adam, I was just a bit distracted. Again, I didn't really get in time to do the show like I normally do, so I do apologize for that. It has just been a busy week unexpectedly. But now that we have all the news, does anybody have anything else? I want to make sure before we move on. We're right about at the time I like to finish up news. Oh, when we can hear the microphone, Jason is one of our best speakers. Well, sometimes it's just too high, and he's got to yell, and it could be a horrible deal. I remember one reunion; it was like all the way up here. It was awful. But let's see here. All right, so we do have one memorial left. So at the Confederate capital of Missouri, there is a grave, a mass grave of 163 unknown Confederate soldiers, along with a memorial flag. Their service will be the 27th. Mr. William, if you can give me more information on that, I'll make sure it's on the next episode of Look Around the Confederation, and I can give as much information as you guys would like. Miss Linda makes a good point. Jason, our Commander-in-Chief Boshears, does not need a microphone usually. He's pretty good at speaking at loud volumes. But without further ado, we're going to take a quick Pop-Tart break, and when we get back, we will have past Mississippi Division Commander Conor on to talk about his platform for Army of Tennessee Councilman. Please share this episode out, please, especially if you're in the Army of Tennessee, and get ready. Again, just like with Mr. Roy, just like with Mr. Tom, this is someone who will be representing you. So make sure you ask questions and are involved. All right. And like always, our Pop-Tart breaks are sponsored by our Patreon tonight. Our Patreon, of course, it helps us stay on the air. It's helping us make improvements. And it's really making sure we take SCV chat into the future. We're making sure that we continue to provide top-notch content and fight to reclaim the narrative 1 week at a time. You can support our Patreon, and the link that will be in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can contact us on our Facebook, Instagram, whatever have you. And of course, if you're having trouble finding the link, you can go to scvchat.com, hit the Support Us tab, and hit the Patreon button, and you'll be taken straight to our Patreon. Again, we will be right back after this Pop-Tart break.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost. Stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
That one gets me every time. Again, thank you guys for tuning back in for us. Make sure, again, to share this out. And I'd like to introduce to everybody past Mississippi Division Commander Conor Bond. You're muted. Your mic's not working again. Your mic's not.
See, you forgot to unmute me, Moose. See, this is the type of love and respect that I get with my own partner.
Well, that's fair. But before we get off the rails too much, tell us a bit about you personally, Conor, and tell us a bit about your SCV.
I'm a Pisces.
So that's wonderful.
Not like that. Okay. So pretty much, for those that don't know me, I'm George Conor Bond, a past commander of the Mississippi Division Sons of Confederate Veterans. I have been involved with the SCV for quite literally my entire life. For 31 years. If you remember when past commander-in-chief did the Faces ad, oh goodness gracious, that would have been almost 4 years. No, actually longer than that, 6 years ago, and about 80 pounds ago. I was one of those, and I told my story. But essentially, I was born into the SCV. My dad was a camp commander when I was born. I luckily grew up around the SCV, attending different events. There are pictures of me from, quite literally an infant carrier all the way up to, adolescence and teenage years at SCV events. Really began getting involved though with the SCV in 2011. I say getting involved, I mean not being pushed by my father, choosing to get involved about 2011. The high school I went to had a project which it was called a senior project, but it was a service-based project based on a research that you did. And my research was on the effects of the war between the states on specifically Rankin County Society, where I live. And I had to volunteer with a 501c3 nonprofit. So naturally, I chose the Sons of Confederate Veterans to do that, and got involved a lot more on the camp level. Got elected as my camp's lieutenant commander. Right after that, I was Mississippi. We elect officers on the odd year, so 2011 was a officer election year, and Alan Palmer, very good friend, was elected division commander then, and asked me to serve as his division color sergeant. And of course, that's right in the middle of the or beginning of the sesquicentennial. And as his color sergeant, I literally traveled from Corinth to the coast, from Vicksburg to Meridian, and all points in between across Mississippi, presenting the colors and commanding the color guard for the Mississippi Division for that. Chose to get more and more involved, and got elected as a brigade councilman or brigade representative on the Mississippi Division level. All that still while representing my brigade on the division level. I also was attending college. Stepped down from that role at the time of the next election because I had moved to Delta State, and did not feel that it was right for me to represent a brigade I wasn't living in. So moved my membership up to the Indianola camp, the Benjamin G. Humphreys camp up there. And while during that time, that was when Commander-in-Chief Barrow was Commander-in-Chief. My dad at that point was Historian-in-Chief under Commander Barrow. Helped my dad with his duty as Commander-in-Chief. Also, 2014, at the reunion in Charleston 10 years ago, I was named adjutant for the Army of Tennessee, and I have been in that position for the past 10 years. Also, then Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, now past Commander-in-Chief Tom Strain, asked me to serve on the National Retention Committee, where she asked me to chair, and I did. When Commander-in-Chief Strain was elected Commander-in-Chief, I was asked to serve with Carl Jones. Carl was the Chief of Heritage Operations. I was his Deputy Chief of Heritage Promotions at that time. Continued on with that, finished up with college, and came back to Central Mississippi, and began working on the division level again. I was elected as our first lieutenant commander, served in that position for 2 years, and then ran for division commander. My first term was excuse me for that. My first term was right in started off with my dad dying in 2019. And then COVID, like literally 2 months later, COVID hit. So I held us together through COVID. Made sure in Mississippi, the Constitution allows for the division commander to be able to call a special reunion if emergency happens. We made sure that we passed a budget so that we could operate under the next fiscal year under a new budget. Continue with that. Started as you may have seen, the anniversary was 1 year ago this past Monday, but started the helping with the project of getting that monument in Calhoun County, where there had not been a Confederate monument up before. Then decided that because COVID had slowed me down, ran for a second term, the first Mississippi Division commander in recent memory, at least since the 1980s, that served 2 terms. Back in the 70s, the term was only 1 year long. So we had several 2-termers, but I was the first two-year 2-termer. came out of that office back in last June, so almost a year ago. Since then, I have been our Mississippi Division Legislative Liaison, our Heritage Operations Officer, Chairman of our Constitution Committee, which we're doing some constitutional amendments that I've had my hand in trying to draft, as well as a couple of other things like the interim, I think we agreed chairman of the Friends of Beauvoir, which is the fundraising arm for Beauvoir, the last home of President Jefferson Davis. Reenactor, currently hold the rank of major in my battalion, 2nd Mississippi Valley Battalion. Have been reenacting just as long as I've been in the SCV. Some of the stuff that I've been awarded, which I don't think that I deserve, but I received the Robert E. Lee Medal this past year, Heritage Defense multiple times, meritorious service, the Distinguished Service, SCV Commendation Award, SCV Leadership Award, Superior Achievement, Hold the Line with the Metcalf. Some other things that I'd left out of my brief biography is served as Deputy Chief of Staff under Paul Gramling's administration. I've served on the Tellers Committee there at National, been aide to camp to a couple of CICs, and I've also been a newsletter editor for my camp, but I gave that up, and I'm currently my camp's parliamentarian and chairman of the 2024 Mississippi Division Sons of Confederate Veterans Reunion Host Committee. So yeah.
And during that time, he met me.
We're not going to talk about that.
During some point, he met me, and
it was going out. It was going out of being first lieutenant commander and going into my first term as division commander.
When I ever run for office, I want to let you know I'm going to blame you for everything.
You already do so.
Okay,
but to summarize my years of work with the SCV, it's been a blessing to be a part of such an organization where I have such great compatriots from all across the Confederation, especially here in the Army of Tennessee. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you, Susie. Personal life wise, I guess we're going to have to do that. I got a sister who's 12 years older than I am, who is president of the Mississippi Society Order of Confederate Rose. My mother's a past society president of the Order of Confederate Rose. And my great nephew, as of this past Saturday, will be one of the newest cadets. I actually have a picture of that I submitted a story with and you didn't cover. So thanks about that, Moose. Actually submitted his and paid for his cadet membership. And in September, there'll be another one if the good Lord's willing. Great nephews. That'll be cadet members.
I'll put them both.
Right, Doc. You are right, Dr. Mitchum. You are right.
That's going to be the whole reason he loses this election. That's fair. All right. Moving on to some of the questions. What motivated you to run for councilman?
Well, as I've kind of mentioned, I love this organization. I have a proven track record of wanting to serve this organization. I've enjoyed serving on every level, whether it's the camp level, the brigade level, the division level. I've enjoyed serving as Army adjutant. I've enjoyed the help I've been able to do on the national level. So it's the SCV is a underutilized or undertold organization, and probably the best organization besides my church that I belong to. And I want to continue to serve. I want to serve the men of the Army of Tennessee. We're the biggest army, and in my opinion, of course, I'm biased, the greatest army. And I want to serve them and serve faithfully for them.
All right. How do you envision your role contributing to the overall mission and goals of the organization?
Well, first and foremost, did you put that one? Did you upload at least that one into the? Oh yeah, you did. I see it over here. So first and foremost, the Constitution lays out what the department commander, or excuse me, a department councilman or army councilman is for the for every army, and it's in Article 6, Section 3, and it says that department councilman at each convention where national officers are prescribed to be elected, the delegations representing the camps of each department shall elect from among themselves representatives to the General Executive Council to be known as department councilman. One councilman shall be elected from each department. The department councilman shall perform such other duties as may from time to time be prescribed by the commander-in-chief and the General Executive Council. So if we're to listen, or if I'm to listen to what General Lee said about duty being the most sublime word in the English language, the Constitution defines my duty. I'm to represent the men of the AOT on the GEC. That means that I listen to their concerns and I bring their concerns up to the table, as well as effectively communicate with the membership. And the key thing in that is the membership. The commander is supposed to represent the divisions and work with the divisions, but the councilman is supposed to work overall with the members of that of the Sons of Confederate Veterans, or at least for their respective armies. So in this case, the AOT. So communicate effectively with the members of the AOT and represent their voice on the GEC. And when I was division commander, there were some times though where a decision on the issue had to be made on the spot. And the men of the AOT need to be confident that their chosen representative is making the best decision at that point from what's best for the Army, not just for what's best for one division, but what's best for the Army. And if I'm lucky enough to be elected by the membership of the AOT, I'm planning on falling back on my experience, especially the past 10 years as Army adjutant and as well as a division commander, and make the decision that I feel best represents them and is best for our organization. Because after all, a representative is a person chosen or appointed to act or speak for others.
All right. Let's see here. Just want to point out Justin's comment that we look alike.
I've had my beard longer than he has. There's a picture of me from when I got my life membership that will never be shared again. The one time I've clean shaven, he has since started growing his beard out. So
I still have the picture. So for those who don't know, Conor started COVID because he shaved.
I shaved because of COVID.
Yeah. He messed up his beard and had to shave it off, and it's still in my nightmares.
It was not a good time. I shaved on like Monday, and that following Saturday, the UDC headquarters was set on fire. Yeah. So
Conor is responsible for the end of the world, basically.
Yeah.
Every time he shaves.
Which there's a story about the veterans after the war, or there towards the end of the war, refusing to cut their hair, shave their beards until states' rights has been decided, and I think that was some divine intervention saying that I need to follow in suit. So,
yeah, I agree. I don't ever think you need to shave again. Maybe for a fundraiser for the museum.
Nope. My mother, who absolutely hates my facial hair, said don't shave again. Mama wins, y'all.
That's a good Southern man right there. He listens to his mama. Can you share some specific initiatives or changes you would like to see implemented if elected, Councilman?
Yeah, happy to. I've got 5 at least changes to the organizations or improvements to the organizations that I'd like to push or at least see. First and foremost, obviously, is paying off the museum. I want to get that done strictly because it's our museum. It's our headquarters. We deserve that. We deserve a place where, especially in today's age, what we're seeing, especially even on with the National Park Service and stuff like that, where our own tax dollars are being used to communicate against us, what essentially is lying about our ancestors. our ancestors deserve a place where their stories are told. And paying off the museum is one key thing, so that we can use that money for other things, whether it's artifact acquisitions or improving on the museum, the rebuilding of Forest Plaza, or advertising. I want to see that. Second is pushing the Friends of the SCV as well as the cadet program. Those are two programs that we have that we use, but we don't utilize enough. That's the reason why we have the Friends graphic in the front of both shows. That's why we created the Friends graphic. I think nationally we have close to 250 Friends. That should be 250,000. It's if we say that the SCV is the best kept secret, then the Friends of the SCV really is the best kept secret. We need to push that tremendously, as well as, again, the cadet program. The cadet program was not around when I was a child, but had it been around, I would have been a cadet. Harrison was a cadet, and you see where we are now. We are proof that getting children involved young in Confederate activities does work. It does help combat what is being taught to them in the school system, provided that they're also being taught at home. But it is something that works and something that we need to utilize more. The third thing is a stronger social media presence. Social media is the future, and actually it's not even the future, it is the present. And we are falling behind. Social media is a great tool to reach worldwide audience, especially with how interconnected we are nowadays, and how and when I say social media, I'm talking X, which used to be Twitter. I'm talking Rumble, MeWe, Facebook. YouTube is a kind of a mixture of social media. And y'all excuse me for a minute, I'm laying away from my brand new microphone. Moose is supposed to be getting his sometime soon. But the social media needs to be utilized more, especially if you want to look at advertising. Especially if you look at demographics in advertising. I've talked to people who range from their 20s all the way up to their 50s. And for the vast majority of those people in that age bracket, they don't listen to, or they don't use traditional media as much as they used to in the past. So, for example, when I'm saying traditional media, I'm talking television, print, and radio. The majority of people who I know in my age bracket, younger and a couple of years older, they listen to podcasts, which is why we have launched a podcast here for chat. They watch YouTube videos, or they watch something on a streaming service. And if they get their news, if they watch the news, they're watching it just for the weather. That's the only time I watch the news, is if bad weather's coming through. And just to see how bad it's going to be. The rest of the time, and even then, I'm usually checking my weather app instead of watching the actual news itself. But I'm watching something on a streaming service, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, or some random channels on YouTube. But there's that. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to audiobooks. If I'm going to check the news, I'm going to check social media. I may check the local channel's website to see what they have up. And there's a couple of different blogs here in Central Mississippi that even our news channels check to get information or get ideas for stories. It breaks there before it breaks the actual news channels. So, I read those blogs. Also social media, checking that out. And that's what a vast majority of the generations that I've mentioned are doing. And when you look at advertising on a social media end, because we've done it here on chat, paying to boost post, it's anywhere from 4 to 6 cents roughly per person reached, and we've had some success this year. And I'm saying calendar year here on chat, we've had the most success that we've had because we've only spent and we've spent the most money this year. We've spent about $200, give or take. And as of 5 o'clock this afternoon, we've reached almost 700,000 people worldwide. Now, out of that 700,000 people, if you look there on the right side of the screen, the from organic is from people sharing our post, from doing things like that organically. From ads, but still only $200. We've reached close to 12,000 people that way. I did a little search or little experiment a little while ago. The maximum that you can boost a post or advertise on Facebook is $500. If you were to do an ad, let's say we were trying to push the Friends of SCV, or if we were trying to push the National Museum for 30 days, $500 for the entire period. Daily, it's estimated that we would reach 2.6 thousand or 2,600 people or 7,500 people giving or taking. And that's just with the paid. That's not including the organic. If you take the middle of that at a round number, I chose $5,000, or not $5,000, excuse me, 5,000 people, and you take that 5,000 people and you multiply that across 30 days, that's 150,000 people a month. And social media with their algorithms, and even on the way that you can sit in there and you can literally build Harrison's profile. You can build it for a Mississippian male in the age range between 20 and 20 and 25. You can put in there that he likes country music, he likes college football, he likes duck hunting, deer hunting, fishing, dogs, NASCAR, whatever the demographics that you want to build in there, and and military history, you throw that in there as well, genealogy, stuff like that, and it will specifically target those people. And that is that's the way forward. That's the way for us to get our best bang on our buck, in my opinion. Now, you know what they say about opinions. But, even if we're not doing it that way, still the fact that you have an organic reach that we've shown on there in just between January 1st and today, that's huge. That's very good numbers. So we need a stronger social media presence. A fourth thing is total membership development. And I believe in pushing total membership development. Again, the Army Councilman is he is subject to the membership. He is representing the membership. He is the voice of the membership, but our membership needs to be totally developed. In college, I was a member of a social fraternity, the Kappa Alpha Order. And during that time, I was our total membership development chair, which taught somebody essentially from your freshman year all the way to your senior year. It was designed to develop you into not only the model KA, but eventually to being the most employable person when you go out into the job market. And we need that within the SCV. Membership needs to, new members need about, we have a honeymoon phase, for lack of a better term, of 3 to 6 months to get them properly oriented, or else we're going to lose them. And we see that with our retention numbers going down. Somebody will come in, get their certificate, they'll wait about 3 to 6 months, and they suddenly leave. We are competing for people's time. And every organization is competing for people's times. And when you suddenly have kids and grandkids and stuff like that, with other events going on, you have to figure out, you have to think, what is more important? Now, not saying that that SCV is more important than biological family by any means, shape whatsoever. But a member who is educated on how the organization works, how the organization's run from the top down and vice versa, as well as how to properly salute the flag, the proper wording of the charge, and various other things. An informed member is a member that's going to want to get involved more, and him wanting to get involved more is going to help with the retention factor on that. Also, as far as while speaking on education, I think that the Army needs to help and we do with our education workshops. But I think that one thing that we need to do, as well as talking about having the adjutant training that we'll have on May 4th, and how to build a camp on May 4th, and community involvement on May 4th. Something else that I think that we need to push as well is proper heritage operations. Yeah, and that's on a division, brigade, and camp level as well. Brigades or divisions need to be, their heritage operations chairs need to be trained on things so that they can then take that back to the brigades, and the brigades can train their camps on how to not only promote heritage and heritage events, but how to defend heritage and heritage events. That needs to be in there, as well as I think we should have breakout sessions if possible, if the space will allow it and the time will allow it, with more specific training on whether it's new members, whether it's officers, things like that. So total membership development and training is a huge key that I believe in. And then finally, the next one that I've talked about on this program, and I strongly believe in, is what I'm calling AIR, and it's a very simple concept. Activity equals inclusivity, inclusivity equals retention, and retention boosts your activity as well on the camp level. So when you have an active camp and your camp is doing stuff, whether it is smoking Boston butts to sell as a fundraiser to help put up a new monument, or you're helping with a Little League team, or whether it's a civic project or a camp specific project or what have you, the more that you have to offer your membership, the more included people are going to feel. And that's also on during the camp meetings as well. Your camp meetings have to feel, open and fun, and your membership should feel included in your camp meetings. And once you feel like you belong to something and you're a part of something, and you have a real responsibility to that organization, then you're going to want to retain your membership, keep your membership up, because it's something fun, it's something you want to be a part of, and then that fixes our retention. The more retention, the better off we are, because then you have more people to do activities. Case in point, if you have a camp that has multifaceted interests, I don't fish. That's my thing. I do not like fishing. My brother-in-law loves fishing. So why can't, and my brother-in-law is a member of my camp, why can't my brother-in-law get 4 or 5 guys together and go fishing? That's a camp activity. It's a bonding activity. It's a fraternal bonding activity. I like golf. Moose, let's just say hypothetically, likes golf. Actually, Moose likes driving the golf cart around and watching me hit the small ball. But let's say I get 4 other guys, and it doesn't even have to be from my camp. It could be from my brigade or across the division. Get together and have that activity so that you feel like you're a part of it. There's one reason why the CAV has grown so much, is because it offers a niche window to those guys who enjoy riding motorcycles, who enjoy the camaraderie of that, and we need to offer that across the multifaceted different. And same thing about reenacting as well. They're guys who love reenacting. I like reenacting. Who that's their thing, and they have a section of their camp that's dedicated to that. But we need to grow on that, build on that, and include other activities, other ideas, besides just besides feeling like we're going to a Civil War roundtable with a Southern perspective where all we're doing is meeting, eating, and retreating. If a camp does that and it's not feeling inclusive, the camp's not going to grow. So those are my 5 things.
All right. Next question. This is one I've been interested from a lot of people, and we have a couple more that I've been loving to hear everybody's response. But in your opinion, what is the most pressing challenges facing the Sons of Confederate Veterans? Well,
and we kind of talked about this. We kind of talked about this on Monday. The big thing that we have facing us is that the people of the South are essentially having an identity crisis. We've been subjugated for the past 160 years, 159 years, if we want to be technical, but let's just round up and go ahead and say 160 years. Longer than that, really, if you look at the sectional crisis. But anyway, digressing, especially kicked off over the past, my lifetime, maybe a little bit longer, where it's no longer cool to be Southern. It's no longer something to be prideful to be Southern. And how can we expect people to be proud of being Southern, or being proud of being Confederate and wanting to join a Confederate heritage organization if they're not proud to be Southern? That's as far as one of our big issues facing us on the outside. And we're trying to do a better job of that. That's why we tell the history of the South at our museum. That's why we're pushing, or I've been pushing, to talk more than just about the war between the states, but talk about the impact that the South has had on America's culture. Reinstill that regional pride. If you look at all the polls that were done and how people feel about the battle flag. One of the questions is, how do you feel about the battle flag? Option A is that it's racist. Option B is that it's heritage. And option C is it's a symbol of regional pride. Well, we've lost that regional pride and we need to regain that. Once we get that regional pride back, and we're proud of being from the South and being a culturally unique people, then we will have a better a better chance on recruiting into the organization, as well as stopping some of this cultural upheaval that we've seen since 2015. But as far as internally, our biggest problem is infighting and retention. Now, infighting, we're, as Southerners, we are fiercely independent people. And even when we think that we're right and we know that we're wrong, we still think that we're right. And that's something that we have to work on at an individual level, and you need people in positions to be able to mediate that. But the retention, I've already mentioned on how, at least I believe, we can fix the retention problem.
Okay. All right. Let me look through a couple more of these. Here's the one I've been enjoying to ask. Regarding public perception, how do you plan to navigate potential controversies and criticisms surrounding the Sons of Confederate Veterans?
Well, and that's kind of what we've been doing on chat for the past 4 years, by showing the world what we're not. The world automatically believes that we are. They already have a negative stereotype when they hear the Sons of Confederate Veterans. They automatically assume, and they're wrong to do so, that we are what we ain't. We are what we despise. At least that's what they think we are. But clearly we're not. We're a multi-generational, multi-ethnic organization that reflects the Confederate Army, which was the most diverse Confederate or diverse military fighting force in the face of the world at that time. And that's what we have to do. We have to be out there in the public and show that, no, we're not something that's socially taboo. We're not something that is to be shied away from. We're the pillars of communities that you expect us to be. We're the men who are there praying with you on Sunday. We're the men that are there when a tornado comes through town and tears up. We're the first ones, we're some of the first ones there, lending a helping hand, cleaning up or cooking a meal, things of that nature. And by doing community outreach on the community level, and that's part of the activities, doing some community outreach, as well as being out there in the forefront, showing that we are who we say we are and what we need to be. That's how we combat it. When we're out there and we're presenting our organization in a positive light, and that's also online as well. And we've done episodes about that where I've given my opinion. But, when we're showing that, hey, this upstanding guy, he's a deacon at my church, he's past master of his lodge, he's a member of the Kiwanis Club, whatever else, because we're all involved in other organizations. They start looking at us in a positive light. And then suddenly when the outside forces come in and try to remove a monument or change the name of a school or something like that, and we're there defending it, our home people will say, whoa, this is my neighbor. This is a guy who I've known for years. This is the guy that I've seen his good works. And they're thinking about that. Also, at the same time, the more positive and publicity we get out there, the more friends we can get into the Friends organization. And again, if we were to grow our Friends organization to those that feel that may not have the genealogical or the chromosomal requirements to join the SCV, if they join the Friends organization, suddenly we've got an army of supporters there that we can call on. And imagine if we had 250,000 people worldwide in our Friends organization, and we have an issue like Arlington come up again, where we're doing a one-click politic and we're suddenly bombarding. I think it was like 23 or so members of the House of Representatives that signed their name to a letter to the DOD asking them to stop the removal of the monument at Arlington, and that was with I think close to 20,000 signatures coming in on that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, if I've inflated or deflated those numbers. But still, that is a huge, significant victory for us. Now, imagine though, if we had that army that we could call on to stand with us.
I agree. I'll be looking in the comments soon. I think we have a couple questions, and we'll get to those in a second. We're going to finish up with kind of the standard questions we've been asking everybody. Let's see here. There's one specifically. How would you encourage with intergate?
Integrate? No.
No. How would you engage? Or I'm trying to figure out. I'm the one that made the question. How would you ensure that with the broader membership or how would you talk with the broader membership to ensure their perspectives and concerns are considered in decision making?
So again, the easiest way is social media. You started that on this program earlier this year with bringing the Army commanders and councilmen on, giving an update on what's happening on the Army. I would want to continue that. I would want to continue being on here monthly. If not myself, whoever the commander is, and during that time, sitting there and 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, talk about the issues that they're having. At the same time, email is very important. My email inbox is always open. My phone lines are always open. If you can't get me, there's multiple ways that you can reach out to me. And that's it. Just got to hear from them. And of course, being able to visit, the camps whenever available, or I say, camps, division reunions whenever available, is something that is important as well. Sadly, because of the reunion, I didn't plan. It just so happened that my camp is hosting this year's reunion, and that has taken up a lot of time meeting with vendors and stuff like that. Whether it's the hotel, which I've had some problems with, or some other stuff, has required me to stick home close to Mississippi. So.
Oh yeah. I did that last year. It's awful. Let's see here. Looking ahead, what do you envision as key milestones or accomplishments for the Sons of Confederate Veterans during your potential tenure on the GEC?
Well, so milestones that I want to see accomplished, of course, is the museum being paid off. The Forest Equestrian statue being resurrected. And then, like I said, just overall growth for the AOT, for every division to grow, and to prosper, to see camps go up, and to see us, start striking where we can on these, striking where we can on the heritage front, and start seeing the resonation of Southern pride, because again, that will lead to Confederate pride, which will lead, to the ending of this cultural war we're in.
Yeah, For sure. All right. That's all my questions here. I'm going to start looking now through the comments for questions. If you see one, Connor, that you want me to pull up there, just let me know because I'm a slow reader. One I would like to throw up, it's not really a question, but we've also been allowing people to throw out ideas and get your take on them. You know, this person asked, that, the SUVCW, uh, it was going to take a second.
Sons Union Veterans of the Civil War has an associate level membership. For those that are interested or just haven't proved their ancestry yet, I see the SCV Friends as the same sort of thing, and it is. We talk about cousin Vinny, or cousin Vinny, who's, God love him, up in behind enemy lines in New York. When we first met Vinny, electronically at least, was trying to join the Friends of the SCV because he had not, or was about to join the Friends of the SCV because he had not proved his genealogy yet. And right before he sent in his application, he actually found his Confederate ancestor. And that is a huge thing. I'm so glad that he did, and he's one of our compatriots, especially seeing the work that he has been able to accomplish up in New Jersey, almost to the point where New Jersey could even get a provincial division. If you look at the Constitution and see how many camps that requires, stuff like that. Very, very glad to see that that could happen. But yeah, and that's what the Friends is. The Friends has been around. I was talking to past Commander-in-Chief Chuck McMichael, and he said he believed it was back in his term or before his term as Commander-in-Chief, which was many moons ago. But still, he said it was around then, and it's been around for a while, and it's just something that we need to be able to push more, which kind of I see here in the starred comments. I'm going to use that talking point to piggyback on what Dave was saying about what are my ideas about promoting the Friends. The biggest, best way to do it, in my opinion, is to first of all, every camp needs to be made aware of it. We need to make sure that our membership's aware of and that goes back to communication, of the different opportunities that our organization offers. And then as far as letting the world know about it, again, I say social media. And I go back to that previous statistic. If we were to share that for 30 days at $500 for the entire post, for the entire duration of it, that's an estimated 150,000 people that we could reach in 1 month. Now, out of that 150,000, not many of them may join. But still, for $500, reaching that many people with it, we can afford to at least try. I'm all for trying new things. So go ahead, Moose, if you got anything else, any specific ones you want to throw up?
We have a couple, but we're just going to go in the order that I find them. I know there's a couple more. Continuing on from the previous comment, he asked, for heritage defense, would it be proactive before it's an issue or react?
So in 2013 at the Vicksburg National Reunion is when we changed the Constitution from it being a Heritage Defense Committee nationally to a Heritage Operations Committee. And Heritage Operations has two sides to the equation. I personally think that there should be a third branch or a third side of it. And if you will permit me to do some sketching on this notepad really quickly, that is actually not going to work because you can see the lines through it, and I don't have any clean white scratch paper to use with me, so I apologize. But Heritage Operations, in my opinion, there is a proactive, actually, to answer it simply, no, we should not be reactive. We should always be proactive on it. Now, how is that? So, on the Heritage Operations end. So, the proactive end is Heritage Promotions. We should all the time be out there promoting the Sons of Confederate Veterans and promoting Southern heritage and Confederate heritage in a positive light in our communities. That is important because when something does happen in your community and you go on the defense, like your monument is under attack, you need to be on the defense, defending the monument, defending the Confederate soldiers' good name. Okay, at that point, you know, you've got those allies built up on this end right over here. So that's why it's important to be proactive. Also, during the time that your heritage defense end, or the heritage defense side of the coin, or branch for my personal beliefs branch, should be preparing for the defense. So you should know exactly who purchased the monument in your given area. You should know the history of your monument. You should know, all right, is this on county land? Is this on city land? Is it on private land? If it's on city land, but you know the land is owned by the UDC, whatever, you should have that ready to go to fight your case. That should be, you know, a huge important thing. The next branch, and it kind of goes into what you were talking about local ordinances, things like that, is a legislative wing. Now, we are a 501c3 organization, and we're limited on what we can do with politics. We cannot endorse a specific candidate. We cannot get involved in party politics, but we can get involved on issue-based politics. And those issue-based, for us, our issues are the Confederate soldier, the Confederate soldier's good name, pretty much everything that's in the charge. And we need to be proactively lobbying on our issues on every branch of government, whether that's the state government, the local government, or state, local, or even federal government as well. So it's, like I said, it is a three-winged approach. You're proactively out there gaining supporters for when you do have to defend. When you do have to defend, you are ready with everything that a lawyer needs to have to be able to defend your case and not have to drag it out in the court system. And you need to have friendly agents. Well, I'm agents of influence is what the Kennedys have called, and I'm kind of stealing that. But you need to have friendly board of supervisor members, state legislators, county representatives, state senators, governors, whatever you have, parish, even on up to the federal level. You need to have those people ready to hear from you. And when they hear from you, think, okay, these are my supporters, these are my people. I'm not going to be bashed for supporting them. And also at the same time, you need to have your membership ready so that when the word goes out that, hey, we're doing one-click politic and we need to bombard and shut down the switchboards, or we need to shut down the email servers of them because we're sending so many things, they need to be ready to go. So it's proactive, but there's multifacets on how to be proactive.
All right, let's see here. We'll go through a couple of these, and we're kind of running out of time, so I'll try my best to get everybody, but I don't know. Victor asks, and I mean, as a young member running for office, I know I got this question a lot. I'm sure you have in the past. You know, GCB, you are still young and employed full-time. Do you feel like you have the time for this position and the finances to travel through the Army of Tennessee?
Yeah. So as far as the time, I'm lucky to work full-time for in a position where a lot of it I can work remote. There are 2 times of the year. That is the third week in October. Actually, technically it's the first Thursday in October, till for 11 days, that I have to be at work. And then for about 2 weeks in February, that I'm literally married to this place. The rest of the time I can work, and a lot of time I do work remotely. So as far as being able to travel, that's the great thing about technology. My laptop goes with me everywhere I go. My cell phone goes with me wherever I go. Work knows that I'm one call away if something goes on. So the full-time employment thing, yeah, I'm very blessed to work where I am. Finances, Yes, provided that I can accurately maintain a calendar, as in if somebody contacts me, a couple weeks in advance or a month in advance, and I can manage my budget to be able to say, okay, I've got to go and speak at a monument dedication in Florida, provided that my calendar already allows me to, and my finances um, should line up with it. So easy to do that. Um, the only thing that I will say is I don't have a wife, I don't have a girlfriend or any other significant other. That would be the next, or any children. So that would be the next thing that would be, a hindering factor, or some could consider a hindering factor about a young family. I do not have a young family. I do not plan on having a young family anytime soon. Um, I am married to the SCV for now. Not saying that that's not part of the plan in the future, but for at least the next 2 years, that is part of my plan, is to continue to dedicate my time to the service of our ancestors.
All right. I'll check.
Because it did not affect me, during 4 years as division commander, including working at a job where I made substantially less money than I'm making right now, and had to be at work and could not work remotely, and COVID and all that other stuff. I'm really happy I don't work at that former place of employment.
And he had to pay for this one. Now, he was a wonderful aide de camp. Some could say he's one of the best aide de camps in history. All right. I'm not seeing anymore.
I think Victor had a do I receive appearance fees? No. There was one question: do I receive appearance fees? No. Even when I was division commander, I had a stipend that I could spend. The only time that I spent any of that stipend was just for national reunion, for the hotel room, not my registration, not my meals, anything like that. I actually used what was left of my stipend the first term to help pay for the monument in Calhoun County. So it's all come out of my pocket, and I did have Moose traveling around with me. So yeah, I saw that Victor did ask another question about the Hunley Award.
yeah.
I am a huge proponent of the Hunley Award. I did 4 years of JROTC in high school, graduated as cadet major. My camp at that time did not do the Hunley Award. The year after I graduated, I insisted the camp that I was in started doing the Hunley Award, and we did. So as far as should we have some type of national, all right, GCB, as far as the Hunley Award as AOT Councilman representing us as, I guess that means at national. Would you recommend for national to do, or what would you recommend for national to do to get several branches of the military to acknowledge the Hunley Award as a national award again? Again, that goes back to we need to grow our membership. As far as do I think national should be like calling the DoD explaining that yes, you need to give out the Hunley Award. Yes, and that goes for also any other genealogical society that had an award for ROTC and JROTC. I believe the UDC gave one out. The SAR gave one out. I think they all got pulled by the DoD in their requirements. But yes, I think that we should be doing that. But I also think that it takes more than just the national organization demanding that. I think it takes all of us, and again, the membership, calling their congressional representatives and saying, hey, I'm a veteran, and not me, but let's say that you are a veteran, or you have a child, or you are a graduate of JROTC, that the Hunley Award was a key and pivotal thing that you enjoyed, that you got, or was a key thing that you're very proud of, that you are very disappointed that it's no longer advertised by the ROTC, JROTC system through the various branches of government, and that it should be reinstituted. And I think that we can do that. We saw what influence we had with the Arlington thing. And imagine us all getting together, and I would definitely be want to propose that that moving forward. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, and Victor, I know that the Air Force doesn't recognize it. I think Army pulled it as well. I think all of them did. I know that we still see pictures in the veteran and stuff like that. I think that it's kind of on a individual battalion basis, if they're still allowing it or not. But I think that it should be I think that it should be us working together, pulling together, and contacting our congressional federal leadership and getting that taken care of.
Yeah, like it's weird because my area is pretty Confederate friendly, and I don't think we give it out anymore. But the funny thing is I know someone who got it in a pretty rough heritage area, I'll call it, and they gave it out still. It's weird all over the place. But I do want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you share this episode out, and especially if you're in the Army of Tennessee, share this out to your camps, brigades, and divisions.
And camps and other subsidiaries.
Yeah. Thank Navin. I would like to thank past division commander Conor Bond on coming out tonight. He really didn't have a choice. He's one of the few that I could force on here. So, thank him.
It was my pleasure to come on. I look forward on being on Sean's show at the end of the month, Look Around Southwest Florida. I really look forward to this upcoming Monday where we're going to be doing a debunking video that Moose has been working on, watching so he can have facts to dispute with this guy who did a very terrible job of talking about the Confederate flag and has some very miscued facts, some very miscued polling data, and stuff like that. Adam, I am glad to see that you're still getting it from JROTC program. I see where I stand corrected that they could still give it, but they can't wear it on the uniforms. That should be something that we should be approaching our federal delegation about, or your state federal representatives. And I think that we could even set up a one-click politic for it. Yes, Dr. Mitchum, it was a horrible video. It was nothing but hate, and we're going to talk about it Monday, but it's going to be a great episode.
Yeah, let's see here. I know Dr. Mitchum put something up, but I'll have to show you that off screen. You'll get a kick out of it.
That he wants to hook me up with his cousins.
We did a good job.
well, if it's Sandy Mitchum saying that he wants to hook me up with his cousin Salamander after she gets out of the institution, I do appreciate it, but let's wait 2 years.
Yeah, let's see what y'all both are in 2 years. Y'all could grow a lot as people.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you share this episode out again this Monday. We will be having another reaction video debunking fake history. It's one of the things that I'm very proud about that we have done in the past. We did our first one a couple months ago. Maybe we'll do a replay of that next week. Who knows? So I'm really looking forward to doing this one again. I think it's a great way to start winding down, I hate to say, Confederate History and Heritage Month, but we are getting to the end of April. And make sure that you tune in to the next Look Around Confederation episode next Thursday. It is the charge day. So we'll be talking about S.D. Lee's charge that he gave to us.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're not winding down. We're just getting geared up.
Oh,
we have charge day coming up. We're going to go out with a bang. Plus, you can't forget to mention that the next to the last day of the month, we have Adam Southern coming on.
One of the greatest baseball players to ever live.
He's going to Reddit frop.
He's going to rail frop it good. Make sure you send your pictures, short videos, and write-ups to scvyouthoutreach at gmail.com, and you will be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It is an honor to do this for the SCV and for all my fellow brothers and sisters of the South. Until next time, my friends, remember to stay Southern. Good night, everybody.